the key to a bright future. empowermefirst.college.
Hello there. Welcome to your lesson on addition and subtraction of sets. And by the end of this lesson, students will be able to add and subtract sets, determine which sets can be added or cannot be added in a problem, simplify sets in order to subtract them appropriately. Now, to add or subtract sets, the numbers under the root sign have to be the same so that we can add or subtract them. Let us look at a couple of examples. We'll first look at this example where we have 4 root 3 plus 2 root 3. Now, as you can see, both the numbers under the root sign are the same, which basically is 3. So this is how we view this. We can simply represent, for example, root 3 and just give it maybe a numeric figure like a or whatsoever, so that we understand it better. So in this case, it's almost as saying 4a plus 2a is equal to 6a, with a being the constant. So what we are simply doing is we are adding the numbers that are outside the root. So in this case, it's 4 being added to 2, which then gives us 6, and then we reveal our a, which is root 3. So your answer becomes 6 root 3. And so we basically do the same thing with subtraction. In this case, we have 4 root 3 minus 2 root 3. So using the same mechanism that we used in the previous slide, we'll just take a to represent root of 3. And so in this case, it's 4a minus 2a to give us 2a, which is as good as finding the difference between the numbers that are outside the root sign. So your answer ultimately becomes 2 root of 3. If you feel like you need to get that again, you can rewind a little bit and then try to master the concept again. But do not worry, you are going to have a lot of time for practice so that you understand what this really means. Let's suppose you are given the following questions. How do you go about them? You have a 4 root 2 plus 3 root 5, and b we have root 3 plus root of 12. Let us pause for a moment. Think about how you would attempt. If you have a piece of paper, try to find the solution to these before you proceed to the next. I hope you did pause the video for a little bit and tried working it out, and now you are ready to compare your answers with our answers. So we'll start off with the first one. 4 root 2 plus 3 root 5. Remember, the principle is this: you cannot add or subtract numbers that have got a different digit under the root sign. So in this case, we have root 2 and root 5. Therefore, we cannot add these numbers. And so the answer that you could probably give is no result, because these figures cannot be added together in surd form. This does not mean that these numbers cannot be added together in real life or using a calculator, but in surd notation, these cannot be added. Let us then move on to the next one. You have root of 3 plus the root of 12. We can start off by simplifying the surds, where we start off by saying root of 12 is equivalent to the root of 4 times the root of 3, which brings us to this expression. Root of 3 plus the root of 4 times the root of 3. Now, 4 has got a perfect square root. The square root of 4 is 2. Remember, if you multiply 2 by 2, you get 4. So, instead, we remove the root sign and are left with 2. So, in this case, we have 3 plus the 2 root of 3, which we can simplify further. Root of 3 is also equivalent to 1 times the root of 3. So in this case, your expression is 1 times the root of 3 plus 2 times the root of 3. We simply add the numbers that are outside the roots, which is basically 1 plus 2. And in the end, you are left up with 3 times the root of 3.